All right, guys, so today we're going to be talking about something that universities don't want you to know. Some degrees are about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. And look, I'm not here to crush your dreams, right? I'm here because someone needs to tell you what your college advisor and in many cases high school advisor won't. That a fancy $50,000 piece of paper might be worth less than the frame that you put it in. So here's what's going to go down today. We're going to be looking at 7 degrees that universities are still promoting like they're the golden ticket to career paradise, and spoiler alert, they're not. But first, let me explain how I'm rating these educational dumpster fires. I'm going to be using what's called the uselessness scale from 1 to 10, where 1 means actually useful, go for it, and 10 means literally setting your money on fire would be a better investment. And I'm going to be judging these based on 3 factors. The first one is job market reality. Are there actual jobs out there that specifically want this degree? Not theoretical jobs, not, well, you could always jobs, real jobs with real salaries that appear on real job boards. The second is the skill to cost ratio. Could you learn these same skills through cheaper or free alternatives? Are you paying $40,000 to learn something that you could have easily learned on Wikipedia or YouTube? And then the third is going to be the promotional bullshit factor. How much are universities overselling the prospects of this degree compared to real world outcomes? So with that being said, these videos are always very painful for me to make and very painful to talk about. So gently tap that like button if you appreciate me doing this, and let's jump into it right now. All right, first up, we have the crown jewel of useless education, paranormal psychology. Yes, this is a real thing that people spend real money studying. So what is it? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like, the scientific study of ghosts, ESP, psychic abilities, and other supernatural phenomena that most employers consider about as valuable as a resume printed on a Ouija board. Now, universities market these programs with phrases like exploring the boundaries of human consciousness and investigating unexplained phenomena. And they'll tell you that you're on the cutting edge of science, exploring the final frontier of human understanding. But the reality is, unless you're planning to be the next host of Ghost Hunters or start your own psychic hotline, you're basically paying tuition to learn how to spot Casper the Friendly Ghost. And the job market for paranormal psychologists is, well, paranormal, as in it doesn't exist in the physical realm. There is literally no industry demand for this degree outside of entertainment. Now, what kills me is how universities still promote these programs. They'll showcase the one professor who got a 30-second TV spot on the History Channel's Haunted Whatever and act like it's a viable career path, right? They'll talk about research opportunities, which basically means sitting in abandoned buildings with an EMF meter hoping to catch a spooky sound. Don't believe me? Well, one university, I'm not naming names, but Google does exist, advertises career pathways including paranormal researcher and anomalous experience investigator. What the hell is an anomalous experience investigator and who is paying them? Look, I'm not judging. If ghosts are your passion, watch some YouTube videos, buy a voice recorder, and join a local ghost hunting club. But save yourself the tuition. Paranormal psychology gets a perfect 10 out of 10 on the uselessness scale. It is the king of useless degrees.
Quick break, this video is sponsored by me. Most of you don't know that I actually have my own coaching program on personal branding and then growing and making money on YouTube. And this is good for complete beginners, maybe even people who just want to get a job by growing their personal brand, all the way up to people who are very advanced on YouTube. And they get to work directly with myself and my team to help them reach their goals. Now, we are opening up 3 to 5 spots, and this is pretty rare. We usually don't have these open. We usually only limit them to select people. But we're opening up 3 to 5 spots, and you can check those out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And in this program, you'll get to work directly with myself and other people who are highly successful on YouTube. Just as an example, Sean was able to go all the way from being stuck, not making very much money on his channel, to making over $500,000 a month. Now, that's an example of one of my more advanced students, but there's lots of examples of people who started off from scratch and they got to 5K a month, 10K a month, etc. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below.
Now, paranormal psychology probably pissed a few people off, but the next degree, psychology, is gonna piss a lot more people off because this is one of the most popular degrees in America. And specifically, I'm referring to a bachelor's degree in psychology. So this is the degree for people who wanna understand like how people think, right? But they end up not being able to understand why they can't find a job. So what is it? Well, it's the study of human behavior, mental processes, and emotional functioning. And you'll learn about everything from Freud's mommy issues to why people in groups act like idiots. And universities market these programs like they're the gateway to becoming the next Sigmund Freud or running a private practice where you nod thoughtfully while charging $200 an hour. And they'll use phrases like understanding the human mind and helping people overcome challenges. And they'll show you pictures of students in professional settings, implying that you'll walk straight from graduation into a therapist's office with your name on the door. But here's what they conveniently forget to mention. You can't do with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Like seriously, almost every meaningful career in psychology requires at least a master's degree, and most require a doctorate. So do you want to be a therapist? That's a graduate degree. Do you want to be a clinical psychologist? That's a doctorate. School psychologist, more education. So what can you do with the bachelor's degree? Well, if you're lucky, you might get an entry-level social service job that pays about as well as retail, but with the added bonus of emotional trauma. Or 99% of people are just going to get a completely unrelated job that just requires any degree, or in a lot of cases, no degree at all. So the job market is absolutely flooded with psychology graduates because it's one of the most popular majors in the country. Supply and demand, people. When everyone has the same degree, it becomes worth less than toilet paper. And at least toilet paper serves a clear purpose. And what drives me insane is how universities are still promoting these programs as standalone degrees, right? They'll cite statistics about the growing mental health field without clarifying that growth applies to licensed professionals with graduate degrees, right? They'll showcase that one graduate who landed a cool research assistant position, conveniently omitting that they beat out 300 other psych graduates for that one job. So if you're genuinely interested in psychology, either commit to graduate school from the start or choose a more specialized undergraduate degree like social work or human resources that has actual career paths with just a bachelor's degree. So I'm gonna be nice here. This is probably one of the better scores I'm gonna give, but psychology gets a 7 out of 10 on the uselessness scale. Not the absolute worst, but you could actually argue it's worse than these other ones because there's over 100,000 people graduating with this degree every year. With that being said, it is a classic example of universities selling a dream while hiding the fine print. All right, guys, this is getting painful to talk about. The next one is contemplative studies. Yeah, this degree is literally about thinking, deeply about thinking.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So what is it? It's the academic study of meditation, mindfulness, and consciousness. So you basically get the opportunity of spending 4 years and thousands of dollars learning how to sit quietly and ponder the meaning of existence. And universities market these programs with buzzwords like holistic understanding and mind-body connection, and my personal favorite, transformative educational experience. And they'll tell you that you're developing essential skills for the modern world like self-awareness and mindfulness. And here's what they don't tell you. Every AI chatbot now has a deep think button. You're literally getting a degree in something that artificial intelligence can do with one click. And the job prospects? Well, let me think about that deeply. Oh right, there aren't any. Unless you plan to become a meditation teacher, which requires no formal degree whatsoever. Or pursue a degree in academia where you'll be competing with philosophy PhDs. Good luck explaining to employers what tangible skills you bring to the table. So what can you contribute to our company, sir? Well, I think I can really deeply think about things. Great, you and everyone else with a functional brain. And universities are still pushing these programs by riding the mindfulness and wellness trend. That's one thing I kind of noticed with the marketing. So they'll showcase successful stories of one graduate who started a meditation app or became a wellness consultant for Google. And what they won't tell you is that the person's success has absolutely nothing to do with the degree and everything to do with entrepreneurial skills that they developed despite their education. So if mindfulness is your jam, that's great. I love mindfulness too. I like meditating. Download Headspace, read some books, and take a few workshops. You'll get the same knowledge without the soul-crushing debt. And once in a while, people will comment on my videos saying, Shane, it's not about the money. Listen, if it wasn't about the money, they wouldn't be charging you $50,000 to $100,000 in student loan debt to get the degree. It is about the money. If it wasn't about the money, they wouldn't be charging you money. So contemplative studies is gonna get a 9 out of 10 on the uselessness scale. All right, next one. Surf Science and Technology degree. Now, this is an example of one of these degrees that is actually too niche. Usually it's a good idea to be niche, right? Usually it's a good idea to kind of get really deep in one subject. But this is an example of a degree that's actually too deep in a single subject. And yes, this is a real degree that real universities offer with a straight face. Now, what is it? It's the academic study of surfing, coastal environments, and the surf industry. And you'll learn about wave patterns, surfboard design, and beach tourism. And universities market these programs as the perfect blend of passion and career. Turn your love of surfing into a career, they say. They'll showcase their beach-adjacent campus and talk about hands-on learning experiences. Translation, surfing for credit. Now let's be real for a second here. The actual jobs in the surf industry, from retail to coaching to product design, care about one thing. Can you surf? And do you know what doesn't prove you can surf? A degree in surfing. The job market for this degree is limited to seasonal work at surf shops, teaching beginners, which requires certification, not a degree, or very niche research positions that typically require additional qualifications in marine biology or environmental science, right? So try explaining this degree in a non-surfing job interview. So I see you have a degree in surf science. Yeah, it's like the science of surfing, dude. Okay, security's gonna show you out now. So what's insane, again, is how universities promote these programs. They're gonna showcase the one graduate who landed a job designing boards for Billabong or doing coastal research, positions that could be filled by people with traditional engineering or environmental science degrees, and they'll act like it's the normal thing, right? So if surfing is your passion, that's awesome. Get a real degree in business marketing or environmental science, or just learn in-demand skills without getting a degree, and then also get really good at surfing. And you'll have just as good of a chance at getting any of these jobs. And either way, you'll be better off than having a surf science degree on your resume. So surf science gets a 9 out of 10 on the uselessness scale, and the only reason it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 is at least you'd get to surf for 4 years. All right, next one on the list is going to be pop culture studies. And yes, this is a real thing as well. This is a degree for people who want to turn their Netflix addiction into a career. So what is it? Well, it's the academic analysis of contemporary media trends and entertainment. So you'll write papers about Marvel movies, analyze TikTok trends, and discuss the cultural significance of reality TV. And universities sell these programs as preparing you for careers in media analysis, trend forecasting, and cultural consulting. And they'll tell you that you're developing critical thinking skills and media literacy that are essential in today's information economy. And here's the truth they're not telling you. You're paying university prices to develop skills that any reasonably engaged consumer of media already has for free. Your 14-year-old cousin who posts TikTok analysis videos has the same qualifications that you'll have after 4 years and $50,000. And the job market, good luck. Media companies want people with specific skills. Writing, video production, data analysis, not someone who can explain why the Bachelor represents the decline of Western civilization. And of course, universities promote these programs by showcasing graduates who landed jobs at media companies, conveniently omitting that they got those jobs because of internships, networking, specific skills, or because they knew somebody on the inside. Not because they wrote a thesis on postmodern themes in SpongeBob SquarePants. So if you're interested in media and pop culture, don't get a degree. Just start creating content, build a portfolio, and network like crazy. The media industry cares about what you can do, not what you can analyze. I couldn't care less if any of my video editors have a college degree. It does not matter at all to me. What matters is their portfolio. Pop culture or popular culture studies, man, I'm gonna be really nice and I'm gonna give pop culture studies an 8.5 out of 10 on the uselessness scale, just simply because I do think that social media, pop culture, and just creating content in general is a really important skill to learn, and you'd probably learn a lot if you did the degree, but you absolutely don't need the degree. All right. Degree number 6, the degree that is equivalent to answering I don't know to every question about your future, is general studies. Yes, this is a degree without a specialization. It's basically the degree of people who like to look stuff up on Wikipedia. And this is what happens when you can't decide on a major, but you still want a degree. Any degree. And universities market these programs as flexible, well-rounded, and adaptable to multiple career paths. And they'll tell you that you're developing transferable skills and a broad knowledge base that will prepare you for today's changing job market. Now, what they're really saying is, we have no idea what this degree qualifies you for, but we're happy to take your money while you figure it out. Yeah, boy. Now, here is the cold, hard truth. Employers want specialists. not generalists. They want to know what you can do for them, not that you know a little bit about everything, right? Because any of us can just look stuff up on Wikipedia or ask ChatGPT a question, and we will have general knowledge on just about anything out there. So you're paying full tuition for what amounts to sampling random classes with no cohesive skill development. It's like if you went to an Italian restaurant expecting to eat Italian food, and then you got one bite of every single cuisine in the world, but it was cooked very poorly. Universities have general studies programs because they're cash cows. They can shuffle undecided students into these programs, collect their tuition for 4 years, and then send them off with a degree that means almost nothing in the job market. Or even better, the students end up spending 5, 6, or even 7 years getting their bachelor's degree. And then they have a useless degree, which means they probably have to go back to the school, pay even more money to get their master's or their doctorate. And all of those things result in the school making more money. And when I look at job postings, I have yet to see one that says general studies degree preferred. It just doesn't happen. So if you're undecided about your career path, that's totally fine, but either take time off to figure it out or pick a degree with actual job prospects and use your electives to explore other interests. General studies, I'm gonna be nice here and give it a 9.5 out of 10 on the uselessness scale.
Quick break, this video is sponsored by me. Most of you don't know that I actually have my own coaching program on personal branding and then growing and making money on YouTube. And this is good for complete beginners, maybe even people who just want to get a job by growing their personal brand, all the way up to people who are very advanced on YouTube. And they get to work directly with myself and my team to help them reach their goals. Now, we are opening up 3 to 5 spots, and this is pretty rare. We usually don't have these open. We usually only limit them to select people. But we're opening up 3 to 5 spots, and you can check those out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And in this program, you'll get to work directly with myself and other people who are highly successful on YouTube. Just as an example, Sean was able to go all the way from being stuck, not making very much money on his channel, to making over $500,000 a month. Now, that's an example of one of my more advanced students, but there's lots of examples of people who started off from scratch and they got to 5K a month, 10K a month, etc. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below.
All right, next is art history, the degree for people who want to be professionally broke while being able to explain why a banana duct taped to a wall is worth $6.2 million. So what is it? It's the study of historical art movements, artists, and techniques. And you'll learn about everything from Renaissance masterpieces to why someone duct taping a banana to a wall counts as groundbreaking art. Now, universities market these programs with visions of sophisticated careers in museums, galleries, and auction houses. And they'll show you pictures of students standing thoughtfully in front of famous paintings, talking about preserving cultural heritage and developing connoisseurship. But what they won't tell you about is that the museum and gallery world is one of the most competitive, nepotistic industries on the planet. There are literally more people with art history degrees than there are jobs in the entire field, by far. And unless you're aiming for one of the handful of museum curator positions, which usually requires PhDs and connections, you're essentially paying 4 years of tuition to learn how to look at paintings. And spoiler alert, you can do that for free by walking into any museum or opening a book. So the job market for art history graduates is so bad that it's become a punchline. The classic joke, what do you say to an art history major? And the answer, I'll have fries for that, exists for a reason. Universities are still pushing these programs by showcasing their relationship with local museums and a handful of internship opportunities that might lead to jobs, conveniently omitting that those internships are often unpaid and rarely lead to full-time employment. Or they'll talk about transferable skills like critical thinking and visual analysis, without mentioning that virtually every humanities degree claims to teach these same skills. So if you love art, that's fantastic. I love art too. Visit museums, read books, take some courses, but get a degree in something that will actually lead to employment, like arts administration, museum studies, or even marketing with a focus on the arts sector. Art history is going to get a 9 out of 10 on the uselessness scale. Not the absolute worst, but unless you're independently wealthy or you have connections in the art world, your expensive education will likely end up as wall decoration, just like the art that you studied. Now look, I'm not saying education isn't valuable. It absolutely is, but education and degrees are not the same thing. And what pisses me off isn't that these programs exist. If you're independently wealthy and you want to study paranormal psychology just for the pure joy of learning, knock yourself out. What's infuriating is that universities market these degrees to 18-year-olds as viable career paths, knowing damn well that most graduates will struggle to find relevant employment. And they're selling dreams while hiding the nightmares of debt and unemployment that follow. So what should you do instead? Watch my channel, because I present lots of alternatives. There is no one-size size fits all, right? College is not going to be the right choice for everyone. College is great for certain people with certain degrees, but in a lot of cases, it doesn't work. And there's so many alternatives: trade schools, coding boot camps, online courses, apprenticeships, certifications, certificates, or just on-the-job training. So don't feel like you absolutely have to go $50,000 or $100,000 in debt just to be able to get a job. And remember, a degree is just a tool, not a guarantee. So choose your tools wisely. And if you want to check out my recommendations for free or extremely affordable certifications, certificates, and courses from all across the internet, then check that out, because I actually have an entire list of them down in the description and the pinned comment below. And this is basically a master list that I keep updated, so definitely download it. And also check out my video on top 10 certifications that lead to high-paying remote jobs by clicking right here.